Okay, so now we're going to talk about data types in Go, and we'll start with our basic data types. So our first basic data type is an integer. Here we see a, and we're setting that equal to 10. You'll note that unlike in other C-based programming languages, we specify the name of the variable and then the data type. Instead of saying int a, we say a int. The authors of the language intent here is that this sort of is the way you think about this in English. A is an integer, its value is 10. We also have b here. B is a floating point number, so floating point numbers are numbers that have decimal points, and in the next video we'll talk a bit more about IEEE floating point format and the cleverness there, that this one is equal to pi to several digits of precision. We have a string, hello go. We have a Boolean variable, which could be true or false, and then we have a complex number, right? So those are things that deal with like the square root of -1. And then we have various ways that we can print these out with format strings with printf, which is similar to what we would see in the C programming language. %d is used to print integers. %f is used to print floating point numbers. Here we're going to specify 2 digits of precision after the decimal point. We print the string. T is used for Booleans, and we can print complex numbers using this F format or with %v. So I'll go ahead and build this. And you can see it prints these out. So here with the %.2f, we get 2 digits after the decimal point on the complex number. We see that for our floating point number, we get our string and our integer. Okay, so those are our basic types. We have numbers with and without things after the decimal point, strings, which are a sequence of characters, Booleans, and complex numbers. Now, another interesting thing about Go is that we don't have to declare variables and say what type they are. Go will actually infer this for us. It's still a statically typed language. Each of these variables does have a data type. You'll see when I hover over them that it actually will tell us what the declaration is, but using this := operator, we're telling Go to automatically infer the data type, and we don't have to specify it explicitly. I'm also here in the printfs using %T, and that will print out the name of the data type. So here we're going to print out the name of the data type of A, and then the value of the variable A. All right, so here we'll see that it basically prints the same thing, except it's printing, instead of the names that we specified in the previous video, the names of the data types int, float64, string, bool, and complex 128. Okay, so we have one more thing that's interesting about Go and variables, which is that it can automatically assign values to variables when we declare them. So it tries to zero out variables or assign a simple value to each variable. So we'll see here, we're declaring the variables. Again, we're not specifying values when we declare the variables, but Go is going to go ahead and give those variables values. Right, so you'll see that it basically zeroes out all of the basic data types, and for a string, it gives us the empty string. Now, one thing that we encounter a lot in programming things that deal with people is social security numbers. And so I'll talk briefly here about what you might want to do for a social security number. So your first temptation, since it's called a number and it doesn't have anything after the decimal point, would be to say something like bar SSAN, and we'll call it an int 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, and I don't do semicolons, and then we'll go ahead and print that out. All right, so if we build this, I forgot to hit save, didn't I? Save, build, and I forgot 9 because it's a 9-digit number. All looks well. There's sort of two reasons that we generally don't do this. One of which is that certain machines only allocate 32 bits for an integer. In Go, if we specify just int, it will pick what's default for this machine. This happens to be a 64-bit laptop. You'll note if I say int 32, it will tell us that this number is too big. It's outside the range of integers. We'll talk more about that in the next video. So that's one reason that we might want to do this. Another reason that we likely don't want to use integers is some social security numbers begin with 0. Right? So you'll see that it's unhappy with this syntax. This leading 0, it's unhappy with this. So if we just remove the leading 0, we still have this issue. We can fix that. Right, so we can fix that by specifying this 0, 9, saying we want to have leading zeros. But this tends to be difficult for programmers to keep track of, for users to keep track of. So even though we say social security number is an integer, social security number, we tend to actually store it in computers as strings, perhaps even with the dashes in them, as we would expect people to print them out. Okay, so here I actually forgot to put the %s. Go is telling me there was an extra parameter that was a string. What I should have done is have that %s there. All right, and that's an introduction to the basic data types in Go.